Question: do we as human beings tend to overtly complicate things? I think sometimes the answer is yes. Hey, how you doing? This is Jan. I'm from New York City. I truly love, love, love helping folks like you and even myself keep some more of our own hard-earned money. Never forget the three key words here: hard-earned money. There you go. Just saying, just saying. How you doing today? Hope as always that this video finds everyone doing well. Listen, so recently I was visiting with a friend and we happened to put on the TV and there was a show of a person, it was a cooking type show, okay? And it was involving how to cook basically chicken thighs, if you will. I don't know the name of the show. I have no clue. I didn't put on the TV. That was my friend's call. However, as I was sitting there, I'm asking myself, did you ever take a simple matter in life and all of a sudden it becomes this huge, monstrous thing? Well, that is precisely, in my honest opinion, what happened in this particular cooking show, on this cooking show. So, of course, the person making the dish meant very, very well and, may be accustomed to a lot of things. What do I mean by this? This person took a basic item, okay, and literally, if I told you this person used about 8 different spices on the item and did about 20 different steps on the item, which I couldn't understand at all whatsoever. There was just so much mishmash and illogic to that recipe. I said to myself, I'll just sit through and view this and ask myself, why would I personally want to go through all that complicated work? Honestly, I personally do not. I like recipes that are simple. I like recipes that are basic. I like recipes where I can actually taste the food, but that's me. That's not to say the whole world has to think just the way I do. But there were literally like 8 different spices. Okay, enough about the spices, but also that person added tremendous amount of prep steps to this, bone it should have been boneless, but it wasn't, to this, chicken thighs. This one had skin on it, and it had, like, more than a ton of skin on it, like so another part segment of the video, you're viewing the person trimming all the fat off, and I'm asking myself, why not just buy boneless boneless chicken thighs if you're going to go through all that trouble? But everybody's different. Everybody's taste is different. So I found about 35 ways that I would have streamlined that recipe. Okay. Not that I'm any magical chef. I certainly am not by any stretch of the imagination. I just felt that this person was using so many ingredients. There were also additional ingredients to go with this dish that were totally unnecessary. Definitely not a frugal dish. Definitely not a frugal person's dish. Maybe because I am a frugal person, I was looking at it from that perspective, but I was also looking at it as an overly complicated thing, making a mountain out of a chicken molehill, if you will, that didn't have to be, that ends up being costly. Now, here's another example. Did you ever start off by wanting to have an informal gathering, an informal get together with friends and family, or just your neighbors? Okay. And it starts off at hot dogs and hamburgers, okay, with all great intention in mind. Then all of a sudden you realize, gee, I really should add maybe wine to the list or something else or some fancy sodas. And then all of a sudden that gets added to the list, right? Mind you, this is supposed to be basic. Then let's not forget we have to have a fancy dessert to go with it. And that fancy ice cream will be really, really good. And all of a sudden, what started off as simple cookout, hot dog, hamburger gathering turned into this monster sized party that when you do the tallying up, we went from, let's say, a $50 limit budget to twice or even three times that amount. Why do we tend to overtly complicate things? Honestly, I don't know, but I know this. I know this. I could have saved that person that prepared that way, way, way overly prepared chicken, and some, in my opinion, the methods I was watching of the prep rather, let's say, not to my personal liking. Like it just didn't look. appetizing to me personally. But again, I'll emphasize that's me. However, if I were to dissect that recipe versus the way I would have prepared the same kind of chicken, this person spent at least 10 to $15 more on this recipe. Why? I asked myself why. And I said to myself, wait a minute, that's just probably the tip of the iceberg. There are many people out there that do this with many, 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 and beyond many recipes as a lifestyle. Even though they may be cooking at home, even though they may be going to the grocery store, which, hey, listen, this is all commendable. Anyone who eats home as opposed to constant dining out, I take my hat off. But guess what? Sometimes we even go overboard with the recipes and the complications that we ourselves add to the mix. It is not necessary. I'm telling you, there were one, two, three vegetables underneath the chicken inside of this recipe under the chicken. Okay, there were like maybe three vegetables under it. Okay, and all those spices. It costs money to keep all those extra spices on hand and tons of what I would consider sodium-based product. Example, if you're going to use like salt on something, must you also add like certain other products that are basically chicken flavored salt? I don't think so. But this is how I look at it. Dissect some of your recipes and ask yourself, in this time of, well, even though people say things are getting better, I'm not feeling it yet. And a lot of people are not feeling it yet as far as pricing goes at the grocery store. So we have to continuously remain frugal, stay afloat, and use all the basic principles. One of the basic principles is keeping your meal simple and not getting so many ingredients, in my honest. So is there a way or there a way? Perhaps you may be doing this yourself without even realizing. Listen to the way this recipe ran that I told you. First of all, the recipe was costly in time because you spent half the time cleaning the fat off the chicken. If you don't like fat on your chicken, do not purchase boneless thigh. Do not purchase thighs, rather chicken thighs with the fat on it. You can get it without the fat on the skin. You don't have to spend another half hour cleaning off the fat. That is self-defeating. Okay. And then you don't have to add so many ingredients. And it's like salt based over salt based ingredients. To me, all of this is expensive. And I ask myself, if this is the tip of the iceberg in complicating a matter, can you imagine how many other things in life people complicate? If we could complicate, turn a simple recipe into chaos that costs money, just imagine how much more do we overtly complicate. And at the end of the day, overtly spend for. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate your time. Don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe to this channel.